Hey everyone, and welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for another explainer. And you know what? Today, we're just going to completely skip the standard agenda because, well, we are heading straight into the clouds. We're embarking on this really mystical journey high up in the Kumaon hills of Uttarakhand, India. It's this incredible story where ancient mythology, rugged mountain landscapes, and a very modern quest for human connection all kind of collide on one single, breathtaking trail.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the lore surrounding our destination is absolutely captivating. We're talking about the Maa Syahi Devi Temple. It's a place literally steeped in magic and deep spiritual reverence. Get this, according to local belief, the goddess presiding over this mountain doesn't just, sit in stone. Her idol miraculously changes colors 3 times from dawn to dusk. It's the absolute perfect hook for a true Himalayan mystery.
So, let's start with part 1. The mystery of Syahi Devi.
And this brilliantly illustrates those daily transformations. Perched at a dizzying 7,100 feet in the dense pine and oak forests of Almora, this ancient shrine holds an incredible secret. The goddess is actually said to appear in this radiant, golden hue right with the morning sunrise. Then, by midday, she transforms into a fierce black, taking on the powerful form of goddess Kali. And finally, as evening falls, the idol shifts into this dark, dusk hue, which is an ancient symbol of peace and protection for the night. How amazing is that?
Now, if you're wondering exactly how long she's watched over these valleys, well, it kind of depends on which historical account you consult. Our sources present a really fascinating split here. Some historical records claim the temple is 1,700 years old, but local legend heavily features a 900-year-old origin story. That legend actually insists the temple was constructed in a single night by a king of the Katiori dynasty. It perfectly captures how deeply myth and recorded history just blend together in Uttarakhand.
Actually getting to this magical site, however, that takes some real physical effort. Just reaching the general Almora area involves a flight to Pantnagar Airport, which is about 130 kilometers away, or a scenic train ride to Kathgodam station, about 90 kilometers out. Or you're looking at a pretty long drive from Delhi or Dehradun. But honestly, that's only the beginning. To actually reach the Syahi Devi Temple, travelers face a winding 36-kilometer mountain drive to a village called Sitalkhet, followed by a steep 3-kilometer uphill trek straight through dense forests.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Youth Summit Trek.
This brings us to a really special group of modern-day travelers who took on this exact mountain path. We're talking about the India-Bhutan Youth Summit of 2019. Organized by the Center for Escalation of Peace, it brought together 21 young participants, 11 from Bhutan and 10 from India. Their goal? To basically forge bilateral friendship, enhance mutual understanding, and create this pool of lifelong ambassadors for the India-Bhutan relationship. And the best part is, they decided the absolute best way to do this wasn't sitting in a stuffy boardroom, but out in the wild of the Himalayas.
Here you can see the delegates catching their breath on the pine-covered hills of their base camp in Uroli. The physical obstacles of this really steep trek perfectly mirrored their initial nerves, the nerves about meeting foreigners and navigating a completely new environment. But as we'll see, it was exactly this shared physical exertion that laid the groundwork for some truly genuine bonds.
This quote from Indian delegate Cyril Cherian is just so telling. Long before they even hit the trail, the ice was actually broken on the Shatabdi train ride to Kathgodam. Cyril noted that despite coming from different nations, they played games like dumb charades, they shared food, and most importantly, they sang together. Music literally became their immediate bridge, setting a tone of joyous collaboration for the grueling trek ahead.
Moving on to Section 3, Bonds Built on the Trail.
Out in the elements, the physical climb up to Syahi Devi evolved into this really powerful metaphor for human connection. Their summit diaries are just filled with these rich sensory details. They bonded by singing a silly rhyming song, Lumbi Dadi Wali Baba, with local school kids they met on the path. There was the brave and apparently highly debated initiative of foraging for local mushrooms called shamu, which they actually successfully cooked. When 2 delegates started picking up plastic litter, the whole group spontaneously joined in to clean the trail. And at night, completely cut off from the digital world, with 0 electricity, they played 7-Up by the campfire and shared deeply personal stories.
Gathered under the towering pines of Uyuroli, nature essentially forced these delegates to rely entirely on each other. When heavy rain struck their self-pitched tents at night, they had to scramble together in the pitch dark just to pull their bags and shoes inside. It really wasn't just a hike, it was a total crash course in teamwork and community reliance.
Delegate Anshu Sakia beautifully captured a realization that was shared by so many of them. She noted that while they were diverse in terms of background, in a practical sense we had a lot of commonalities as well. And the essence of that is just profound. When you're navigating a slippery trail or pulling your boots out of the mud or cooking over an open fire, all those perceived cultural and national barriers, they just vanish. The shared human experience totally takes over.
That brings us to Section 4, Echoes of the Past. As the young delegates near the summit, the past and present really began to overlap. Completely out of drinking water and exhausted, the trekkers found relief at a local home's naula. Now, a naula is a traditional Himalayan water source, almost like a small step well. By drinking this pure, unfiltered mountain water provided by a local family, the delegates were actually participating in a centuries-old tradition of hospitality, drawing from the exact same sources as pilgrims from millennia past.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the compelling historical secret this mountain holds. As the delegates approached the ancient temple, with its endless rows of brass bells swaying in the wind, they were literally walking in the footsteps of a giant. So who else found solace in these specific caves over a century ago?
It was none other than Swami Vivekananda. Back in the year 1898, this great spiritual leader traveled to this exact spot, finding the profound peace and isolation necessary to meditate in the caves of the Syahi Devi mountain. Knowing this instantly grounds the trekker's modern journey in a really deep historical tapestry of spiritual seeking.
Then finally, Section 5, A Journey Transformed.
Let's move to and see how this builds across their timeline, because this physical climax perfectly mirrored their growing unity. On day 1, they arrived as complete strangers at the Urali base camp. By day 2, they had conquered the steep summit to the Syahi Devi Temple together. And on the morning of day 3, their reward was parting clouds that revealed the stunning, snow-capped glaciers of Nanda Devi right before they began their descent.
The contrast here is just incredible. After descending from the rugged, muddy trails of the Kuman Hills, they transitioned right back into the diplomatic world. Gathering for a formal dinner at the Royal Bhutanese Embassy in New Delhi, they interacted directly with Bhutan's ambassador, Major General Vetsup Namgyel. It really shows the full spectrum of their cultural exchange, from sharing a campfire in the woods to engaging in high-level geopolitical discussions in the city.
But, the emotional peak of the summit wasn't an official speech. As noted in their diaries, on their very last night together after the cultural performances ended, the 21 participants pushed all their individual tables together. They formed one massive unified table so that not a single person would have to eat alone. That one simple act truly defined the entire summit. The quote here says it all. There was a lot of respect that flowed among all the participants.
So I want to leave you with this thought to ponder. We've seen how shared struggles, a steep climb, and open hearts turn strangers from two completely different nations into a family. If a single mountain trek in Uttarakhand can bridge the divide between countries, what invisible borders could you cross in your own life today? Thank you so much for exploring with me, and I'll catch you next time.